What is the dumbest idea you have ever had that actually worked? Wearing a motorcycle helmet while snow blowing. I did it because I missed riding. It kept my face warm, and when snow would fly back at me, the visor would protect me. When I was younger, I got called into HR because I drew a very detailed picture of a penis. It was really, really good. The HR meeting happened like a week after I drew it, and my only defense was, I don't recall doing that. Do you happen to have the picture? It might jog my memory. They didn't have it, of course, because I had it, and because I didn't confess, they couldn't do Investigation results inconclusive. Have a nice day. A storm broke a limb on a tree hanging over my house in my backyard, but it was still hanging on by a few splinters. I didn't want it to fall, and it wasn't in a place where I could use my ladder to get it, so I found a rope, tied a brick to it, threw the brick and rope over the limb, made a crude rope swing, and swung and pulled the branch until it finished breaking. It wasn't until I was using the chainsaw to cut it up that I realized how many times during my stupid idea I could have easily hurt or even killed myself. A friend and I once snuck 15 people into a warp core by giving them bracelets from a party supply store and clipboards full of paper. Walked up to the side gate and said we were with the Rock the Vote. The security guard waved us right in. I forgot to bring a resume to a job interview, but I had an index card in my bag. I cut the index card in half and wrote my name, my contact info, and creative problem solver in my best handwriting, and gave a copy of my business card to both the interviewers. I got the job. When I was young and broke, I bought a sofa from a used furniture store. I had no way to take the sofa home. I went to a used car lot a couple of blocks away and took a truck for a test drive. That's genius. That's actually genius. Not my idea, but my mom's. I dropped one of my earrings and couldn't find it, so she threw my other earring on the floor and it happened to land right next to the first one. Put Jesus in as a Wi-Fi password in church. It worked. Hello everybody, welcome back to Ask EmKay. My name is Mason. We got some posts to get through, so let's get going. Without saying what the category is, what are your top 5? Youth of today, quicksand, rival schools, gorilla biscuits, Warzone. I could not tell you what that means. Katana, Trespass, Wizard, Firebird, Vulcan. Again, nothing. I got nothing. Chicken wings, mozzarella sticks, hamburgers, french fries, chicken tenders. Yoga pants, 10 out of 10 with rice. HQG, Nicolas Cage, and Leroy Jenkins. Fresh asphalt, mint, nail polish remover, my own farts, and meat on the grill. That one's gotta be best smells. Lavernica, Dickensi, Brutalitops, Mar, Bing Bong, Kansas City, Denver, Chicago, Oklahoma, Wichita. How would you feel if underwear had butt cheek sizes? A, B, C, double D, etc. Just like bra cup sizes, but for your butt. I would compare cheek sizes with my homies. I'm fine with it, as long as there's a Hank Hill equivalent size. Small butts matter too. Then I'd be able to buy pants that fit. Mine would be a size W, the W standing for wagon. I would think I would end up feeling insecure about the size of my butt, because I would know how it falls on a scale, and like right now I can pretend like it's nice, as it used to be. But we all know it's closer to a pancake than it ever has been before. I don't need someone to tell me. Honestly, I would rather women's shirts come in cup sizes. When you're large busted, they all fit poorly. I'd be able to quantify my butt size goals. This would be life-changing. Do you know how frustrating it is to buy underwear for a small size waist but a big ass is always trapped in between cheeks? So uncomfortable. I'm all for this. I would fucking love that, because I might have the hips of a horse, but I got the of a malnourished child. Lamau. Honestly, I think it could make shopping more difficult. I can barely find my bra size in a store. I don't want to go on a treasure hunt just to find underwear too. Also, men would get more annoying. It's bad enough they have the audacity to ask women their cup size. I don't want to be bothered about my size too. Partners of sleep talkers or sleepwalkers, what gems have you to share? My boyfriend once blurted out, "You're putting bread in my ears," in his sleep. Mumbled something unintelligible, followed up with, "And I'm becoming a sandwich." Still makes me laugh whenever I remember. Fantastic sleep songs with lyrics which are utterly bizarre. My 2 absolute favorites have been, "Oh, whoa, whoa, it's a corner cat, obey my rules and you'll always be a country cowboy." Repeated about 5 times and finished with a, "Yeah, I'm the sleep talker." A long while back, my fiance was working a job where she didn't get home until after midnight. She came home one night and was leaning over the table on my side of the bed. She swears up and down that I looked up at her, smacked her on top of the head, and when she asked what the hell, that I told her I was checking to see if she was a ghost. Now, I do remember having a dream like this, but in my dream, my hand did go through her head, proving she was a ghost. My aunt likes to tell the story about her and my cousin sharing a hotel room one time. My aunt woke up having to pee and found my cousin sitting up in a bed with her arms folded across her abdomen, kind of rocking back and forth, giggling quietly. That's horrifying. When my aunt asked her what she was doing, my cousin said, "I'm holding a baby and has an adult smile." I found this story deeply unsettling. I feel like any sane person would. He started shouting that he couldn't feel his left arm. I pointed out he was pinching his pillow, not his arm. He then freaked out that he had lost his arm. I pointed out his arm was under his pillow. He said okay and started snoring. It took me another hour to go back to sleep. He didn't wake up at all. My girlfriend was sleepwalking one night. "Can we get that done this week?" "Huh? Can we get that done this week?" "Sorry. Can we get that done this week, please?" "Okay, thanks." I'd be the king of Monaco. My wife said this one night out of nowhere. The funniest part was her tone of voice, proud and assertive, like she was really sure of her claim to the throne. Anyway, joke's on her. Monaco is a principality. My brother did that in the middle of the night. He would get up, go into the living room, and and say some nonsense to our parents and go back to bed. It was actually pretty creepy the first times because he was like, they are in the walls, they are. Napping with the boyfriend, a loud noise wakes me, but he's still out. Me, what was that? Him, either a tree or a magic eraser. My wife started screaming one night that she was lost in the grocery store and that no matter where she went, she couldn't find her way out. I asked her, has she tried to check out at the registers? She then looked at me and said in her most sincere voice, that's why you're the smartest person I know. And she rolled over and fell back asleep. Ex-roommate talked in his sleep. Once he cried out, no, Gandalf! You will get $10 million cash, but Samuel L. Jackson will be there to shout, motherfucker, for every dollar you spend. Will you be happy and why? If you just invest it, never touch it, and just spend the actual capital gains / interest, does that count as spending the dollars for the motherfuckers? I imagine the motherfuckers would start the moment you hand over your cash to the bank. That or a philosophical discussion on the nature of money. I wouldn't spend a single dollar in the hopes that it keeps the miracle that is Sam Jackson alive until he has yelled for every dollar that I'll never spend. 120-year-old Sam Jackson screaming, why won't you motherfuckers let me die? Would be both funny and sad. So if I spend $50, he's there shouting motherfucker 50 times. I feel like I'd enjoy it way more than he would. He'd probably lose his voice by the end of the day. I'd buy him out of whatever cruel cosmic deal he signed up for to help him escape from the hell of monitoring my purchases until he dies. Where is the downside? It takes around 1 second for Samuel L. Jackson to say motherfucker. If I spend all 10 million in one go, he will be saying motherfucker for 115 days straight. I'd say that's money well spent. I would have so much fun with this during moments of silence. The money tray that gets passed around in a church, donations to your local library. Yeah, man, $10 million and Samuel L. Jackson is basically my new best friend. Sign me up twice. Charge people $2 for every $1 I spend in order to meet Samuel L. Jackson. What are some very comforting facts? Scientists earlier this year made a massive breakthrough in curing blindness, like verging a cure. It was masked by the virus headline though. Crows and ravens love to play in the snow. One of their favorite activities is rolling hills. All those embarrassing, cringy memories that come flooding into your mind when you least expect it, nobody else remembers them. Every last one of us has them. It's part of this complicated process called living. While you're busy remembering yours, everyone else is remembering their own. It's in the past. Nothing you can do right now can make it any better. Chalk it up as a lesson and reek the experience. Bees take naps in flowers. So yeah, it's okay to need a nap. Even busy bees do. If you make it to the airport without dying, you've already passed the deadliest part of plane travel. Cows have best friends. Some fish like to be pet. Goldfish can recognize their owner. Damn, he'd been watching you this whole time and you didn't even know. There's a volunteer organization called No One Dies Alone. You're at Sacred Hearts Medical Center. At your terminal, you need a companion. From someone to talk to or just someone to hold your hand. They'll make sure someone will be there for you. Other hospitals have this too. Cheetahs are very shy animals, so some zoos give them support dogs like those for humans. It's the cutest thing ever. I actually knew that one. That one's very cute. In dog or wolf movies where they use real-life dog actors, people who have to edit all that sometimes have to add CGI tails because the dogs can't stop wagging their tail as they are so happy. Dogs make cute little sneezing sounds to tell you that they are playing and not fighting. Jupiter's gravitational mass is so immense, modern science believes it's been protecting us from meteors for millions of years. NSFW! If you suddenly discovered that people you had fantasized about while masturbating were always fully aware of this, what would your first thoughts be? Do they know the details or just that it happened? Andy I don't want to say this. This is so weird. Andy jerked it while fantasizing about railing on the balcony while I ate out my mother is one thing. Andy masturbated to me is an entirely different. There's gonna be a lot of censors in this one. Hope that they either ignore it or join me on the fun. Do they know I know that they know? If they're still talking to you, that's probably a good sign. In most cases, this would probably just mean that a bunch of stars and celebrities would know what they already know. Hang on. People do what when they watch this? Star. Work would be awkward. Bruh. Especially weird since I'm self-employed. No! Does this include only intentional thoughts or are weird unintentional intrusive thoughts included as well? Therefore, I'm immediately leaving for Nepal where I intend to live as a goat. I'm gonna need to go on a bit of an apology tour. Not a long one, but still. Thank God that one's over. What's the weirdest compliment you've ever been given? In 7th grade, I wore a fanny pack to school to hold stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I played with at lunch. Once while walking down the hallway, an 8th grader I never met before was like, dude, I like your fanny pack. Gave me a high five and kept walking. I never saw him again, and miraculously, nobody ever picked on me about it. To my face at least. I had pink eye and the nurse was looking into my non-infected eye. You have beautiful retinas. Thank you? Then I'm like a piece of furniture. Don't do much, but you notice when I'm not there. A woman I was talking to in my dad's shop thought I was not me, but my sister. When I tried to correct her that I am me, she told me, no, you are not. Insert my name is fat and has short hair. She is not beautiful like you. Like, what the f? lady. My 4-year-old son told me I smelled like music. When I asked what kind of music, he said, music you dance to. Still the best compliment I have received to date. My friends and I were talking about what kind of potatoes we'd be. One of my best friends told me, you'd be a loaded baked potato. People pay extra for that good. An old lady once told me she wishes she was 60 years younger, then she would give me some confidence. It was the most unsettling, funniest, and somehow most charming compliment I've ever seen. You are so tan. How did you get so tan? I'm Indian. Alright, then keep your secrets. Piercer, who pierced my ears back in August, told me my ears were perfect and to call her if anyone said otherwise and she would fight them for me. A teacher in high school told me several times that I had a perfectly shaped head. Someone told me my eyes were upside down. Not sure what that means or if it was a compliment, but they seem friendly. With the right makeup, you'd make a really good looking girl. I'm a guy, by the way. If life was someday proven to be a simulation, what glitch or anomaly could you point to as a major clue that we'd missed? When your pen gets lost as soon as it hits the floor and then appears right there after sometime? Well, yesterday while driving with my daughter in the car, she says, Dad, I'm starting to feel like this whole human thing isn't real. So I guess that would be confirmed as my first hint. Dreaming. How it could be a gateway to another universe or version of yourself. And how do we manage to forget most dreams, especially the important ones? Deja rêve. It's similar to deja vu, but it's where you've dreamed of a future moment. Nice try, simulation developers. Often when I learn about something new I've never heard about, all of a sudden it starts appearing randomly in some TV show I'm watching or a news or Reddit article. They should fix the targeted ad algorithm to make it less obvious I'm living in a simulation. Some get sick for no reason, and some who should be sick because of how they live seem super healthy. Millions of years of evolution and we still can accidentally bite our own tongue? That's some bullshit. The Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. When you learn something new, it seems like you see it everywhere right after that. Like a video game, when you learn some new move, then it is immediately applicable to your life. Periods. Let's leave a trail of blood for predators to follow at the same time. I'm curling up in a fetal position for cramps. Super suspicious. Sounds like it was made by the same people who put Sims in a pool and removed the ladder so they can drown. Sorry, my dog is barking. Look around the room you're in. Choose any random object within the room. What does it feel like to lick that object? You never know what it feels like to have licked it, but have you ever? Single biggest glitch in my book. The fact that the moon and the sun can just about perfectly eclipse each other. What are the odds that the moon and sun would be the sizes they are and distances from the earth that they are allowed that to happen? What's something that people think makes them look cool but actually has the opposite effect? Posting photos of cash on social media. I always think it is funny how doing that is commonly accepted, whereas if you screenshotted your bank account or net worth, you'd be an ass. Bragging about not reading. When people post their weed on Snapchat. Never admitting when you're wrong. It may seem like a confidence power play, however, most people just don't care enough about you to say anything or indicate that they noticed. They'll just slowly drift away from you till one day you're all alone, wondering why no one with any level of competence wants to hang out or work with you. When babies get excited about walking. Real fucking cool, baby. I can walk too. Please stop blasting your music in places where people cannot escape it. I see your earbuds in your pocket, please. Salvation. People listening to their voice messages with many people around. I unironically like wearing fingerless gloves for actual tasks, not just out and about. When people ask me why I wear them, I tell them it's because I'm so cool. I'm not exactly certain how uncool they make me, but I know it's a lot. Elitism. It's fucking stupid to attack someone who enjoys a hobby only just because doesn't put his life on it. One-upping and putting other people down to make yourself look good. Rife in white-collar jobs. I despise people who do it. Being an asshole while hiding behind the "it's just a joke. Stop taking it seriously. Why can't you take a joke?" statements. Hating all genres of music except the one they like. I learned this the hard way by only liking heavy metal and shitting on all other music without giving a chance as a teen. Metal's still my favorite, but all genres have good music. Not modern country though. I'm not sure if this is just an Australian thing, but people who rev their cars or motorbikes really loud, and it's usually quite late at night while most people are trying to sleep. Putting on things other people like. We all have the stuff we don't like, but if you spend all your time putting down everything a person is interested in, you don't look cool or edgy, you look like a with no interests. People who come out with life lessons and quotes. They think they are so profound and deep, but I think they come off as big-headed and stupid. Students and teachers of Reddit, what's the best forgot to turn off the mic story during virtual learning? I had to defend my thesis over Zoom, and many professors came into the call to watch. My thesis was about immune response in fish to parasites. One professor joined late and forgot to mute her mic, and we got treated to this little gem. Shh. Mommy is learning about fish parasites, which is what you'll get if you don't stop peeing in the koi pond. Bruh. Not really anything super weird. Was in a meeting with my class for the first day of school, and I had forgotten to mute myself. Then I had proceeded to start noisily baby talking my cat, who was in my lap at the time. Embarrassing. A girl's mom. Who the f*** you on the computer for this early in the morning? And asking the same thing over and over. Teacher, I think your mic is on. English Zoom call. Teacher was holding us like 15 minutes after the period had ended. She said something along the lines of, keep working arduously. And I responded with, if she says arduously one more time, I'm going to flip table. I was not on mute. Bummer. Sorry, buddy. When I was doing an online algebra camp, teacher forgot to turn off his mic while we were supposed to be doing some problems. He said, I fucking hate math. Me too, dude. Me too. In one of my classes, this girl wrote in the Zoom chat, this is so fucking boring. Not realizing that the professor could see it. Ironically, my IT teacher forgot to turn off his mic and camera and proceeded to get in a very heated argument on the phone with his ex-girlfriend, who he has a kid with. Did I mention she's also a teacher at our school? Yeah, most awkward 5 minutes of my life before he realized. In a thermodynamics class, one of the students said, "Holy this is so much," after covering a large set of equations related to gasity. Everyone found it relatable. Was in training before classes started this year. 200-ish teachers. Only principal and AP were speaking. Teacher has her mic unmuted. Phone rings and picks it up and says, "Hey, yeah, just sitting here in one of these goddamn trainings. Somebody in my class forgot to turn off the mic and started singing along to a song, and loudly. Somebody told her, and there was this odd whoop noise, and then she cut off. I'm not a student, but work in the tech industry. I've been in meetings where people forget to mute themselves on large company calls with hundreds or thousands of attendees, and we'll hear a fart and then a toilet flush. That's about as interesting as these meetings get, though. If Cinderella's shoe fit perfectly, why did it fall off when she ran? She had sweaty feet from dancing all night and then ran down the stairs. Chick was running in heels. I can see that happening to anybody. In the original Cinderella story, the prince spreads pitch on the stairs to trap her. Her shoe gets stuck and she takes it off to get away. Because it was a perfect fit. If it were too tight, maybe it would have stayed on. Because shoes don't encase themselves around your foot, never to be taken off again. They just fit. The other bit I found problematic in Cinderella was when she turned up at the ball, everyone thought she was a foreign princess. When the royal party went looking for her the next day, they searched the homes within the kingdom. If she was a foreign princess, wouldn't she have left the kingdom? Casting staff or directors in general, how awkward is it to hire people for unattractive characters as in their whole role is being fat or ugly? You know, I was thinking about it, and personally, I'd be happier getting a role for being fat or ugly than losing a role for not being attractive enough. I've been a professional actor for over 20 years, and I can say, not awkward at all. I read that the actress that played Dolores Umbridge was told by friend, "OMG, you would be perfect for that role." And then she read that Umbridge was described as toad-like in the books and was like, wow, thanks. Ugly people who become actors have transcended attaching their ego to their appearance. To actually answer the question that nobody has directly, not awkward at all. People will absolutely jump at the chance to be the ugly one. They don't really care. It might be awkward mentally for them, but it's nothing personal and they know it. Just another job opportunity. Like a classic meme goes, if someone paid you $200 but had to call you ugly, would you take it? Of course. I'm ugly, not stupid. TV ugly is not the same as actual ugly. What is a seemingly mundane question you can ask someone that will tell you a lot about their personality? What does HP stand for? Hit points. Is it not? Right? That's what it is in Pokemon, at least. Favorite compliment they've ever received. Tells you a lot about what people think of themselves and what they tend to value. What do you know Tim Curry from? Who is Tim Curry? I feel like I know him. I don't know. Do you prefer night or day? What would you do if you won the lottery? For me, it's a non-invasive way of listening to people's attitudes on finance in general, and also how they feel about the rich. Does Mike Wizowski blink or wink? He blinks. What book would you like to live in? What was the last thing you did that gave you childlike joy? Saving this thread for my next human interaction. I foresee much less awkward silence. Wish me luck. What innocent search turned out to be I was in a bowling pro shop, shopping new bowling balls. Saw one called Hammer XXX. Googled it real quick without thinking anything of it. I was looking for an edging tool at Home Depot a few years back to fix the edges of my lawn around the front sidewalk. Apparently, it's a mass technique that comes up when safe search is turned off. As a mechanical engineer working in an offshore company, I needed to show an example of a spreader bar. Don't Google this at work. When I was about 10 and playing Morrowind for the first time, I wanted to find some high-level armor at a low level, so I Googled ebony. I saw a lot of things. Back in the Wild West of the net, anybody who used .com instead of .gov when trying to get to the White House's website would find a hardcore site. My retired dad thought he would do some substitute teaching. Classroom management was a problem as he had no idea how to deal with unruly students. So, on the school computer, hit Google up for some ideas on teen discipline. I you not. One time in high school, my teacher was using her laptop via projector and we had gotten off topic talking about her pregnancy. Yada yada, she Googled black booties, as in baby shoes, in front of a class full of freshmen, male chicks. Oh no. This is probably 15 years ago in class. I was looking for roosters and instead got pictures of guys in their underwear. As a software engine, I often Google latex terms. Sometimes I tend to forget that I need to specify that I'm looking for the text processing. School research project in grade 5. Google images, construction, road construction, construction workers, manholes, safe search on manholes. No, not manholes. No. What are some tips for someone with no fighting experience to win a fight? Always pull guard so he doesn't get any points for a takedown. If they've got their hands down, angled slightly or sort of looking away but keeping you in the corner of their eye, they're lining up for a sucker punch. Remember, there are no rules in a fight. If you aren't in a sanctioned sports competition, there is no such thing as dirty. That's my purse. I don't know you. Kick. Footwork is important. Stand so that a punch won't knock you over. Don't lean into a punch. Also, know what advantage you have over your opponent. If he's bigger than you, Try to move to the side or behind him. Moving's harder for him, so make him move. If he's taller, getting close so his reach advantage is taken away. If he's lactose intolerant, throw milk at him. What is far deadlier than most people realize? Serious. Not sure if it's been said, but untreated sleep apnea. You literally stop breathing and get little quality sleep. The stress on your cardiovascular system is immense. Get tested, period. Then wear the CPAP no matter how unsexy it is, or maybe surgery to eliminate or reduce the problem. Driving while tired. All you need is that one slow part, or that one part that lulls even a little to put you out. Canoeing. People misjudge currents all the time. 12-year-old girl died here just last weekend. Grapefruit juice interacts with a lot of medication and could be very harmful to you depending on the medications you take. Essential oils. Do not put them in your food. They are not made to be food safe. Throwing a single punch. Here in Australia, it's been criminalized because fights in pubs and clubs are pretty common. The single punch isn't what causes an injury, but falling to the ground and hitting their head on the curb can kill, especially since drunk people don't usually have the capacity to soften their fall. Think twice before you risk losing or taking a life over losing your pride for a night. Holding your breath while scuba diving. To most people who don't scuba dive, it may sound harmless, but if you hold your breath and ascend even a little over a meter, you can suffer major lung damages as a result of the gas in your lungs expanding from the lessening pressure. Touching inside a guitar amp can f you up really bad. It holds a charge, and it all comes out at once if you touch the wrong spot. Going for runs on the roads at night without wearing lights or reflectors. Oftentimes, people even wear black. They think that just because they can see the car, that the car can see them. It only takes one accident to change someone's life completely. Eating a slug. Obviously, it's nasty, but kids do stupid as dares or even hazing rituals. Slugs contain parasites that will get into your brain and fucking kill you slowly. People who take out their phones to record strangers who are having bad days. Why? Especially the ones that use filming you as a threat. I was just doing my job one day when this customer got extremely upset because she wasn't getting her own way and got out her phone and stuck it in my face and started filming. I really wanted to grab it out of her hand and launch it as far as I could, but luckily I didn't take the bait and kept my job. Me and my friend were wearing our bathing suits at a water park and one of the staff members was taking video of us. So I went up to him and freaked out, demanding he show me he delete it. We were like 14 at the time and he was probably like 50. Now that I'm older and wiser, I should have reported him to the water park. I saw some creep taking a video of a homeless woman in Seattle who was obviously having a bad day. I confronted him and his response is, "I'm sending it to my wife who is a nurse." Yeah, right, dude. I'm sure she would appreciate all of the laughing you were doing while recording it. I'll never forget about that. If you see something, speak up for someone who might not be able to. I would also love to know, I'm a dwarf and I get random strangers filming me and taking photos all the fucking time. Whether I'm having a bad day or not, they are guaranteed to turn it into a bad day. I had a migraine at Disney Springs and was trying not to cry in the pain and some dude tried to sneakily film me. I glared at him before covering my face and turning away, so I would also like to know. Fake internet points. I've never done this, but I assume the reason is because once the person's soul is captured inside your camera, you can harvest the dark energy from it for spellbinding purposes. Because people have figured out that if your own life is shitty, you can feel better about yourself by seeking validation from others. Americans of Reddit, what is your opinion on switching to the metric system? I personally am all for it. What difference does it make when Big Tape Measure is lobbying with tens of dollars to keep inches so they don't have to paint more lines? My persuasive speech in high school speech class was about why we should convert. This was 20 years ago. I got a good grade, but people love multiplying and dividing by 25.4 apparently. Reports say a man in California was mugged and they beat him within millimeters of his life. If that means rounding up a 32-ounce beer to 1 liter, then yes please. A 12-centimeter long penis sounds much more impressive. I'm in. 12 centimeters to inch. Oh buddy, no. Americans will never accept a foreign ruler. Not moving an inch. I'm fine with it, but a larger priority is getting rid of that damn daylight savings time. Have you ever woke up in the middle of a dream and the dream was so interesting that you wanted to go back to sleep to see the end of it? If so, what was that dream? I had a dream where I was a criminal being executed. In the beginning of the execution, platform fell forward and the people executing me died, and I was still alive. I was in the living playing a cello in front of my family. I was playing the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, but it sounded like a full-blown orchestra. And as I got to the end, I woke up from a smiling me playing the cello, and I am now sad. It sounded so good, too. Had a dream about a book series that I am 99.9% sure doesn't exist. Been researching a lot, so I'm planning on writing it. Any dream about falling in love. I once had a dream about reconnecting with my first love, and it was going great, but then I had the thought of, what if it was all a dream? Then I woke up, all distraught. I felt awful, but then there she was, and we were back together. It was so uplifting, until I actually woke up. What a way to play with your own emotions. Holy shit. dude. I'm so sorry. I was stranded on an island. The dream felt like it lasted several days, so I wanted to go back to sleep and see if I survived or not. Actually did see the dream again. I survived and escaped on a boat and found a giant cargo ship. I remember me screaming, "Hey, boat!" over and over, and then it cuts off to me just walking around on the boat. Pretty odd, but it was interesting. I have lots of dreams that involve my grandfather who raised me. It used to upset me a bit because I could never go back to the dream or control when they occurred, but eventually I learned to appreciate them. He walked on from life 20 years ago, but it's really nice to see him every now and then, even if it's only in my dreams. I do it all the time. Last night, I dreamed I was on a luxurious cruise ship, the husband and my friends. We were just hanging out in different bars on the ship and going out to the deck to watch as the ship arrived at a tropical port. It was great, but I woke up before I knew where we were. I think that was the point of the dream. I'm happy, secure, but have no idea where the ship is going. The ship representing life or the world, I guess. Yes, I dreamt I had a hot girlfriend. I was cuddling her in the bathroom, bizarrely, and was about to say, "I love you," when I woke up. Felt so real. I couldn't get back to the dream, though. Me and Lego Gandalf fight ghosts with axes. I nearly checkmated Kasparov in a chess game just to be woken up by the alarm. L. Bozo. Imagine dreaming about chess. I was abducted by aliens and sent to Venus. They told me to find ancient artifacts to prove their existence. I had one a while back that I was in a train station talking to MF Doom. We talked for a bit and the train pulled up. He got up and said, "This is my ride." We fist bumped and then he said, "Just remember, everything is bullshit." My alarm went off right as he walked through the door. What is the most obvious lie you have ever been told? I did not feed your dog any human food. My mom, while my dog pukes and it's all over my house. When a coworker told my own story back to me as his own, twice. In the early 90s, I was at work making $5 an hour, and a coworker looked at me straight in the eye and said he had bought a surface-to-air missile from China, kept it stored at his mom's house in a different city. What the f, dude? That's not even close to believable. My friend told me that getting a Peloton changed her life. I looked up her workout stats, and she had used it 4 times in 5 months of owning it. Her husband fared a little better with using it 9 times. Don't know why this annoyed me so much. My little girl told everyone in the supermarket that our cat died, and she was sad. We don't own a cat. Yeah, not anymore, it died. A childhood friend and I met up for coffee one day after not meeting for a few years. He casually let it slip that ever since he earned a black belt, he has had to register with the state as a human weapon. Yeah, okay, buddy. Sure. I never said you had to sign the document if it wasn't true. Says the person with 3 emails telling me to sign a document even after I said it wasn't true sitting on her outbox. My brother told me I was a dragon, and I totally believed him. Man, was I a dumb kid, but now I'm a dumb adult. Any lieutenant saying the platoon can go home early on a Friday if you work hard right now. I can finish this Civ game tonight. As a tax accountant, I'm told lies about how much money people actually made all the time during tax season. My favorite was a guy telling me he's broke because he only makes $35,000 a year in New York City, so my very reasonable fee is too much for him. He says this after he asks me if he can deduct the new BMW 5 Series he just bought his son all cash. The company is in a great shape, so don't pay any attention to the rumors about financial trouble. When my little brother mixed like 50 condiments, including sprinkles, ketchup, cereal, and stuff into a bag of popcorn and ate it, telling us it was delicious when his face looked like he had just ate 10 extremely sour warheads at once. He later admitted he just wanted us to eat it, but we never did. I did brush my teeth, I swear. What's the weirdest thing you've seen happen at a friend's house that they thought was normal? When I was in high school, a friend asked me and 2 other friends to his house for dinner. His mom served homemade bean soup, which was very good. Toward the end of the main course, she brought out chocolate cake for dessert. She cut each of us a slice and plopped it into our bowls, in which we still had about an inch of soup. Us guests exchanged puzzled glances, but the family dug right in, so apparently chocolate cake soaked in bean soup was an ordinary thing for them. My childhood best friend lived with his grandparents. His grandfather was a clockmaker. He mostly restored them. Their large 2-story house's walls were covered in old restored grandfather and cuckoo clocks. Each one had a small sticker with a number so he could keep track of them all. The highest number I saw was over 700. I would say 25% of them were wound, so every hour you were treated to a symphony of clocks. I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid, but those clocks were fantastic pieces of workmanship. Rich friend's family had rooms not touched in weeks that had vomit on the bed sheets from their parties. Ew! What? Someone was in the bathroom, so the kid who lived there went into the back garden, took a in the flower bed, and shoveled dirt on top of it. The bathroom was free by the time he'd finished. Some of my friends spit in her house straight onto the carpet. I didn't go back. When I was a kid, the neighbor's TV always at 75% volume or higher. They'd literally sit in the living room and scream at each other over the TV on blast. One time I was at my friend's house while his dad was working late. His mom brought home 2 Little Caesars pizzas for us, his brother and his parents. By the time his dad got home from from work, there was no pizza, so his dad just made himself a salad for dinner, and no one got screamed at until they cried. Oh no. I have an opposite one because I had the weird family. In high school, I had a sleepover, and one of my friends went to the kitchen in the middle of the night and saw my dad inebriated in his underwear and stained shirt on his knees in front of the fridge drinking mustard out of the bottle. Monday rolls around and the rumors have spread, and I was like, wait, all your dads don't do that too? LOL. By the way, he did in fact have his own separate mustard bottle. I had a friend in high school whose mother was from Jamaica. His family would colon cleanse together every year. I guess it was customary from his mom's culture, so they literally take medicine to make themselves their brains out for a day or two every year. Notable mention, they only had one bathroom. Oh my god. A neighbor's dad was an avid fisherman, and he would use those electrode things in the lawn to get worms to come up that he was going to use as bait. He would also eat some of the first ones to come up to check if they tasted right. I'm gonna throw up. If not, he would remove the electrodes and try again another day. Serve ice cream with their hands? What? Everyone took their shirts off at the dinner table. Yeah, my friend got backhanded across his kitchen. He slid across the floor to me. After about a 5 count, he got up and went and played chess. What is the scariest, creepiest theory you know about? This isn't a theory, but I just think it's cool. You know how movies and shows always have this ancient alien race that came way before us and we're the new species? Well, technically, most likely that's wrong. We are near the beginning of the universe. If the universe was a person, we would literally barely be a cell, not even form. In reality, we are the ancient species. We are the ones that come before. We are the ones some future civilization may see. Just a crazy thing to think about, that a robot could fail the Turing test if it wanted to. Some smart people I know say life extension tech will exponentially explode in the next century, transforming adult lifespans the same way antibiotics, vaccines, and survival sanitation. What? Transforming adult lifespans the same way antibiotics, vaccines, and sanitation irrevocably transform childhood survival rates. If we hadn't blocked stem cell research, we could be the ones living youthful, nearly disease-free lives, but we've missed our chance by 1 or 2 generations. That my mother-in-law keeps accidentally leaving things at my house because she is slowly moving in. The theory that last moments of consciousness before death can feel like a literal eternity, and where your mind can create entire realities from blissful to horrifying, so in a way the threat of enduring a hellscape of eternal suffering is very real, no matter what you believe. Our world is our perception of our surroundings in our 3-dimensional life. It's possible that we are living amongst beings, things, and events that we cannot experience because we are 3 dimensions and they are not. The one thing that bugs me was the one about the guy who was last seen in an airport. There's a video of him just wigging the f*** out and running away at full speed. They linked surveillance footage and you can see him run all the way off the premises. He was never seen again. There's a lot of theories about what happened, none I want to look into. We could be a brain in someone's basement, just imagining our whole life and everyone we meet. The theory that Carson Wentz and Prince Harry switched lives in 2019, and that's why Wentz sucks at football and Harry left the royal family. The butterfly effect. It makes me feel like deciding whether to choose black shirts or white shirts would increase or decrease my chance of dying young. Edit. I wore a blue undershirt. I wonder what will happen. I'm in a nursing home with dementia in 2060, and all I'm doing is reliving this moment of November 2020. This was a bad thread to read before going to bed. What is something that has aged well? The word cool. Denim in general. Lego! Even music I hated when it was new sounds good because of nostalgia. Old Nintendo games. The speedrun community alone speaks for this. It's crazy how much hype there still is for 20, 30-year-old single-player games. My 84-year-old mother who still walks 3 miles a day and has all her wits about her. Tetris. Still addictive. I sometimes get hallucinations of falling pieces after playing. The earlier episodes of The Simpsons. The Twilight Zone. The series premiered in 1959, and so many of the episodes still hold up today because of its brilliant writing. Jurassic Park. I still think the visuals look great in that movie, even if it were to be released today. Incredibly, some very old photography. Sure, they might be now in digital and whatever, but the composition, attention to detail, there's just so much. Paul Rudd. True, that guy's old as hell, and he still looks good. Arabic numerals, or what most people call numbers. Since around 500 AD, it's been 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the entire world uses. What do you genuinely not understand? How can we lose so much hair every day and still have hair stay consistent length, especially people who have long hair? How I get taller and more handsome every time my grandma sees me? Why I continue to procrastinate and self-sabotage? This is totally due to me not looking it up, but I don't know how dry cleaning works. The order of emails in a Gmail thread. Chemistry. I only passed because my professor curved every F to a C. Sudden motivation at midnight. Why does the word fridge have a letter D in it, while refrigerator does not? How these dogs that have these dense bangs hanging over their eyes can see a single goddamn thing? Why the f does my brain only realize I'm wrong after I've already done it? Bitcoin mining. Solving algorithms? What? Who? Why? Why do people seem so miserable as parents decide to have more kids? Really, I do not get how a needle in a record player bouncing back and forth can create such rich sound. What weird thing would you make socially acceptable if you could? Asking a potential employer what the salary for a position is before jumping through 50 hoops with the application interview process, only to find out pay is crap. If other people are at my house having fun but I'm tired, I just just want to be able to go to bed. They can stay and have a good time. Short naps at work. Staying completely silent in other people's company. The IRS telling you how much you owe in taxes. People in the service industry should be able to tell a customer when they're being an asshole. Taking a social time out without having to smoke or occupy the bathroom. My workday is 6 to 8 hours. It's an open plan office, lunch is social, and I have at least an hour commute per day. That's at least twice my maximum social energy per day. I would like to make it socially acceptable to tell employers that you're only in it for the money, and it being a legitimate answer. What am I supposed to tell employers that I have? I always wanted to work at a part-time job and get yelled at by Karens so I could just make ends meet? Sitting, on the floor, or anywhere, really. People who don't get stressed during a presentation, school, or work, what's your secret? Experience. I used to get nervous and now I don't. Not sure when or why it happened. Honestly, just remembering that most likely no one is paying attention anyway, especially if it's school. I get so stressed before the presentation that the actual presentation comes off as a relief. I'm vain and I love attention. How I handle boring, that's where the neuroses are. Preparation. I know that may sound like a cheap answer, but it's honestly my best hedge against anxiety. I don't remember the people that bomb presentations because they aren't as formative memories. No matter how much I bomb this presentation, no one will remember in a month, especially since they are stressed about their own presentation. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always stressed. And just like that, we're done. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye.